Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 23rd of October and we are going to deal with three very important topics. The first is Air Quality Index of Delhi. The Air Quality Index of Delhi has been impacted too much. It has been impacted so much that it has been categorized in the very poor category. And the graded response action plan, the second stage of it, has been imposed over here in Delhi. There are certain restrictions with respect to operating DG sets or I would say burning coal or I would say cleaning of the roads with water sprinklers have to be done frequently. Now this is a phenomena which impacts Delhi every year. Last year also with the onset of winter this was there. Last year also GRAP 2 was imposed. The reason is the burning of parali in the neighboring states of Punjab and Haryana. That definitely needs to be controlled. Second topic is graded response action plan, which is obviously a connected topic of the first, which I've just discussed in brief. And then we have SDG 17. We will be completing the SDG theme today. And, we've come a long way. We've discussed each and every SDG. And this is the last SDG, that is Revitalize the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development. And then MCQs will follow. Discussion to the MCQs of yesterday will also be done. Now, talking about the first topic, that is Air Quality Index of Delhi. Now, this is a phenomenon which happens every year. And this is a sad state of affairs. The national capital suffers or chokes, I would say. If you go out these days in Delhi NCR, coughing, sneezing is quite common. Around 17,000 square kilometers of agricultural fields in the neighboring states of Punjab and Haryana are being burnt every day. This is 12 Delhis which is being burnt every day if I talk about in numbers. And the amount of carbon dioxide emissions or carbon emissions, I would say, are very high. This coincides with the onset of winter. Actually, in Punjab and Haryana, what started happening after the advent of Green Revolution, that farmers used to grow wheat and rice only. And rice they used to grow twice a year. So what the governments over there did, they restricted the growing of rice and said that you will be growing rice only during the monsoon season. Actually, when their focus on rice increased, rice is a water intensive crop. So the water table started depleting in those states. So then the government imposed such kind of restrictions in Punjab and Haryana that you grow rice only during the monsoon season where water is available through natural resources. So they started growing. Now they sow the crop somewhere around July, August, and then this is the time to cultivate the crop. And when they cultivate the crop, that is rice, the agricultural residue, that is the rice husk, is left. What do they do of the rice husk? The best option is to burn it. They burn it, and when they burn it, it emits smoke. So that smoke, which is coming from Punjab and Haryana, coincides with fog, which is due to the onset of winter. Now, what is fog? Fog is nothing but the clouds, in a nutshell, if you have to understand. Now, these clouds, they have a tendency that they will be there where no the temperatures are low. In the summer months, the land gets heated faster, cools faster, but it does not get cooled so much in the night times also that the clouds come down. But when I talk about winters, the land, the same phenomenon, gets heated faster, cools faster. It does not get warm too much because the sun is not over the Tropic of Cancer, it is over Tropic of Capricorn. But it gets cooled very faster. So that temperature near the Earth or the terrestrial region is colder. So the clouds have this tendency to come down. That is why you experience foggy days or fog during winters only, not during summers. So when this fog comes down and this fog meets the smoke over here, which is due to parali burning in Punjab and Haryana, this causes smog. Smog mein SM comes from smoke and OG comes from fog. This is what is troubling Delhi right now. Delhi is choking under smog. Delhi's air quality plummets very poor category. Now, actions taken, GRAP stage 2 has been enforced. GRAP is Graded Response Action Plan. This Graded Response Action Plan was implemented as a result of a judgment of the Supreme Court. Since 2017, it is into picture. So we'll see in detail what is GRAP, but yes, just to see over here, uh, the air quality, the categories. If the overall air quality range is 0 to 50, it is good. 51 to 100, it is satisfactory. 101 to 200, it is moderately polluted. 201 to 300, it is poor. 301 to 400, it is very poor. And Delhi's air quality currently is over here the second most severe category. And iske baad to, only one thing is left, that is severe, 401 to 500. I just hope and pray to God that we don't come over here. If we come over here, then that will be a problem. Now, graded response action plan, graded response. Our response to tackle air quality should increase if the air quality becomes severe. So, GRAP 1 is, applicable over here when the air quality becomes poor. GRAP 2 when it becomes very poor. The emergency stage, that is the highest form of response, gets implemented over here, the most severe quality of air. So this is how graded response action plan also works. So in detail, we will see. Now, what is AQI? Let us see this. AQI, first of all, stands for Air Quality Index. This Air Quality Index was launched in 2014 in India. It was 17th of September 2014. It was launched in Delhi under the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So it is an intrinsic part of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan by the Environment Minister Shri Prakash Javadekar. Now it includes 8 pollutants. First is PM 2.5, PM 10. PM stands for particulate matter. These are suspended solid particles in the atmosphere, in the air. Then nitrous oxide. Then we have NH3, that is ammonia. Then we have sulfur dioxide. Then we have carbon monoxide. Then ozone. And last is lead. So these are the 8 pollutants. We measure the amounts of these pollutants and a composite index is prepared, and that is where you could see PM10, PM 2.5, NO2, O3, CO, SO2, NS3, PB. These three, 8 are there, and individually their presence or their composition is calculated, and overall is a weighted average of these 8. Now, talking about the air quality index of Delhi in the last 24 hours. So you could see the graph over here. 250 was the overall air quality, was the overall score on the air quality index. Then it went down at 6 p.m. Then 8 p.m. it went up. It remained high during the nights. During the night times, the foggy conditions are more. So the clouds were more and more over here. So that is why, you could see that smoke plus fog near to the earth's surface during the night time and the early hours. And as sun sets in, it's afternoon, 12 p.m., 2 p.m., the air quality starts to dip because the sun is there, the earth is heated, the fog tends to go up. So the pollutants also go up with the fog. So that is how it works. Okay, this is basically a general graph or basically a general understanding which you need to get. Now, current air quality index, PM 2.5 was 128, PM 10 was 240, SO2 was 5, NO2 was 16, ozone was 46, and carbon monoxide was 603. So PM 2.5 is 8.5 times. The current PM 2.5 concentration in New Delhi is 8.5 times above the recommended limit given by the World Health Organization's 24 hours air quality guideline values. Now just imagine, and these are suspended particles. And PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5, the 2.5 denotes the diameter, which is 2.5 micrometers. And this is basically, I'll draw it over here, it will be better. This is a suspended solid particle in the air. The diameter of this particle is 2.5 micrometer. So, and PM10, the diameter of this is 10 micrometer. So this PM 2.5 is smaller in size as compared to PM 10. Both of these are solid particulates or particulate matter which are suspended in the air, and PM 2.5 is more dangerous than PM 10. Why I am saying this? Because it is smaller in size and has the capacity to penetrate deep into our lungs. And the quantity of PM 2.5 is 8.5 times than that should be. The forecast. The forecast is also not so promising. Wednesday, that is today, 162. Thursday, 189. It is going to get worsened. Friday, 215. Saturday, 223. Then a bit of improvement on Sunday, 207. But again, Monday, Tuesday. And you know what? Diwali is approaching. In Diwali, the fog emissions will increase. If they will not increase in Delhi NCR, I'm considering कि चलो भाई ban is there, complete ban on firecrackers is there. I hope and pray to God that the people of Delhi adhere to this or these guidelines. Even I'm assuming that they are adhering, but will the people in Haryana and Punjab adhere to these guidelines? There is not a ban on bursting firecrackers over there. So what I mean to say is that emission of smoke will increase. So this is what is coming in front of us. And in all this, I've also taken out the list of most and least polluted cities of the country. This is from the website of Air Quality Index only. So the most polluted city in India is Kalyan as of now, followed by New Delhi, then Hubli, Rohtak, Sonipat, Panaji, Kurchorem, Chandigarh, Jalandhar, Luotolin. So New Delhi was quite expected to be there. I was expecting to be it on the top, but thankfully it is on the second position. Then least polluted cities in India: Aizawl, air quality index 14, Mangalore 21, Udupi 21, Gangtok 24, Kilkunda 25, Kodaikanal 25, Darjeeling 25, Bishnupur 26, Kakching 27, Silchar 27. Most of these are either in East India or Northeast India. So those people are having all the luxuries, it seems. And as we here in Delhi NCR, we are having this poor, I would say, conditions. So this is what we need to understand and know. And in response of this, poor air quality, the government has imposed graded response action plan, second stage in Delhi. Now, graded response action plan, graded means as the air quality worsens, your action plan should also get elevated. So, your response should also increase if the air quality is worsening. This is what actually it means. A revised action plan to fight serious challenges for air pollution in Delhi and the NCR region has come into force. GRAP 2 is in place. It is a step-by-step plan to counter Delhi NCR's deteriorating air quality. It is incremental and adaptable. Incremental means the response increases if the air quality worsens, which means the preventive measures will be updated and escalated according to changes in AQI. Is GRAP applicable to Delhi NCR only? So largely yes, it is applicable to Delhi NCR only. But if there is the most severe category of air quality, then the emergency stage of GRAP is implemented, and in that stage, the neighboring states of Delhi NCR like Rajasthan, like UP, like Haryana, like Punjab, they are also advised to implement this. So, states in the NCR, National Capital Region, were directed to be ready to implement actions under the emergency category of the graded response action plan. So, states in the NCR, states are which I just mentioned: Rajasthan, Haryana, UP, Punjab is also considered part of it. When was GRAP implemented? It was approved by the Supreme Court in 2016 in pursuance to Supreme Court order in MC Mehta versus Union of India and notified by the Union Environment Ministry in 2017. It was formulated by Environmental Pollution Prevention and Control Authority EPCA jointly with the Delhi government in 2017, and it is administered by Commission for Air Quality Management, that is CAQM. We studied about this commission a few days ago when the Supreme Court called upon this commission and said ki bhai, what are you doing? You are entitled to issue binding orders, but you have not issued binding orders to any of the state governments, including Punjab and Haryana. What are you doing? For what purpose you have been formed? So it was like this. Now, graded response action plan. What is the kind of response? So in stage 1, where the air quality is moderate to poor, PM 2.5 is above 61 micrograms per meter cube and PM 10 is above 101 micrograms per meter cube. So mechanized sweeping of roads is done, washing roads with water is done, enforcing ban on firecrackers, increased security, scrutiny of vehicles for pollution standards and all this is done. Stage 2, if the air quality becomes very poor, PM 2.5 is above 121 micrograms per meter cube and PM 10 is above 351 micrograms per meter cube. So then there is ban on diesel generators. Parking fees to surge by 3 to 4 times. Stop use of coal, firewood in eateries. Urge people with respiratory or cardiac problems to stay inside. So this currently is, over here as of now. Then stage 3, PM 2.5 above 250 micrograms per meter cube, PM 10 is 430 micrograms per meter cube. Increase the frequency of road cleaning and washing, shutdown of brick kilns, restrictions on operations of coal-based power plants in NCR region. All these are done. Then stage 4 is the emergency stage, also known as severe plus. PM 2.5 above 300 micrograms per meter cube, PM 10 above 500 micrograms per meter cube. We ban the entry of trucks except for essential items. Halt construction work. Begin odd even road scheme for private vehicles. So all these things are there. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. You could see that the you know uh, response has been increasing if the pollution levels keep on worsening. This is nothing but graded response action plan. Now, what actions have to be done in GRAP stage 2 since we are in implementing GRAP stage 2 as of now? So, what steps have been taken? So, first is carry out mechanical vacuum sweeping and water sprinkling of the identified roads on a daily basis. So, we could see a lot of smog guns and road cleaning and all being done nowadays. Ensure water sprinkling along with the use of dust suppressants. So dust is also particulate matter only, no? So this particulate matter can combine with fog and form smog. That is basically troubling. So we need to suppress them. So we need to take efforts for this. Intensify inspections for strict enforcement of dust control measures and at CND, construction and demolition sites. CND stands for this. Ensure focused and targeted action for abatement of air pollution in all identified hotspots in NCR region. Ensure uninterrupted power supply to discourage the use of alternate power generating sets, DG sets and all, because DG sets indulge in a lot of emissions. 6. Strictly implement the schedule for regulated operations of DG sets across all sectors. Synchronize traffic movements and deploy adequate personnel at the traffic signals. So I can see nowadays the more and more traffic personnel are deployed, and so that they don't want let the traffic to get accumulated at one place. Alerts in newspapers, TV, radio to advise people about air pollution levels, do's and don'ts for senior citizens, for children. All these things are there. Enhance parking fees to discourage private transport. Augment CNG, electric bus and metro services by inducting additional fleets and increasing the frequency of service. Then resident welfare associations to necessarily provide electric heaters to security guards so that they do not indulge in burning wood or coal. So all these are the steps which have to be taken under GRAP 2. I just hope and pray to God that we don't go for GRAP 3 or the emergency category. That will be devastating. Now only it is, we can feel the situation. And obviously it depends a lot on people, we the people. And collectively, we will have to fight this. Next is SDG 17, Revitalize the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development. This is the last SDG which we have to cover. There are 17 SDGs which have had to be covered, 16 have already been covered. And after this, obviously, we will be starting a new theme. What that new theme will be, let it be a surprise. So, revitalizing the global partnership for sustainable development means we need to collaborate with each other so that we can foster sustainable development. Sustainable development is basically the development in the present which does not compromises the ability and the capacity of the future generations to develop. This definition was given by the Brundtland Commission in 1987. Now, what are the details of this? It emphasizes the importance of revitalizing global partnerships to achieve sustainable development. So, obviously, global partnerships are important because the developed countries have developed sustainable technologies, and it is their responsibility to share that sustainable technology with the developing and underdeveloped world. And don't take exorbitant prices for that. Okay, you have developed, you have done research and development, you had the capacity to do that. And you should not forget that you have become developed at the expense of developing countries. You looted the developing countries, you exploited the developing countries when they were your colonies, and you developed on that cost. Now it is your moral responsibility to help the developing countries. This is one interpretation of this particular goal from a person in a developing country, and which is not wrong. So many developing countries are facing debt crisis. As of November 2022, debt distress was 37%. 37 out of 69 of the world's poorest countries were in debt distress or at high risk of it. The share of exports from LDCs in global merchandise trade has stagnated to around 1% since 2011. So, the exports from these countries are also not increasing. Net ODA's official development assistance reached $206 billion in 2022, up 15.3% from 2021. 2 in 3 people used the internet in 2022. 259 million more males than female users were there. ODA funding for data dropped by more than 20%. So, these are some of the statistics. 2030 agenda is a universal is universal and calls for the collaboration of all the countries, both developed, developing, to collaborate with each other so that we can develop in a more sustainable way. Goals, financial resources. Goal 17.1 to 17.5, strengthen domestic revenue collection and ensure developed countries meet their ODA commitments. Means some developed countries have said that we will, give development grants to the developing countries or underdeveloped countries. So the developing countries and the underdeveloped countries should ensure that these commitments are fulfilled. Mobilize additional resources for developing countries and support long-term debt sustainability. Then technology, goal 17.6 to 17.8, enhance cooperation in science and technology, promoting the transfer of environmentally sound technologies. Capacity building, goal 17.9, increase international support for targeted capacity building efforts in developing countries. Goal 17.10 to 17.12, promote fair multilateral trading system and ensure duty-free access for these developed countries. So their trade should be made preferential, what they want to say. Systemic issues, enhance macroeconomic stability and policy coherence for sustainable development. Multi-stakeholder partnerships, strengthen partnerships to mobilize knowledge, expertise and resources for achieving the SDGs. And last is data monitoring and accountability, enhance data availability and develop metrics to assess sustainable development beyond GDP. Now, key points which we need to understand over here is there are partnerships needed, and why there are partnerships needed? Because the developed countries have the money, the developed countries have the technology which is required for development nowadays. So, developing countries or the underdeveloped countries obviously are dependent. No doubt about the fact that capacity building should be done to reduce the dependence. That is why the Atmanirbhar Bharat program was implemented in India. But yes, the developed countries should also be having this moral responsibility that you have to be sharing this technology and this money in the form of ODA with the developing and underdeveloped countries. Global disparities. Low and middle income countries face significant challenges, including rising debt levels exacerbated by COVID-19 pandemic, inflation, and limited fiscal capacity. So, this global disparities should be plugged. Current challenges, one is debt crisis. So, countries, as we saw that many countries, the low income countries, they are facing this debt crisis. They are not capable of repaying the debt. and once they are not capable of repaying the debt, you know, they fall either into the debt traps like Sri Lanka fell, or they end up giving strategic presence to those countries who have given them debts. And one thing which we need to note over here is that China, a developing country, has given a lot of debt to many small countries in order to expand its strategic influence. Obviously, it is part of its Belt and Road Initiative. But yes, the intentions are that if you are not able to repay the debt, we will be establishing our strategic presence over there in your country. So this debt crisis can lead to, you know, more geopolitical conflicts, because, some countries who are giving the debt, they are wanting to expand their geopolitical, or they're wanting to expand their strategic presence. This might not be in line with some other countries. Like India does not like China expanding its geostrategic presence in countries like Maldives or Sri Lanka or any of our neighboring countries, by making them fall into debt traps. So India is very vocal against this. So this can create challenges between India and China. So that is why this debt crisis is, not good. Developing countries are experiencing unprecedented levels of external debt, necessitating urgent debt relief and financial assistance. ODA trends, while official development assistance has reached record levels, much of this increase in 2022 was directed towards refugees in the countries and aid for Ukraine. Financial mobilization, resource needs. To succeed, there is a need to mobilize existing and additional resources. So obviously there will be need for mobilizing additional resources, because ODAs, they had to come to developing and underdeveloped world, but they are towards directed towards refugees and towards Ukraine. So countries in Africa, they are stranded. That ODA had to come to them. And what is their fault in the Russia-Ukraine war? No fault. So this is how things are being done. Importance of global cooperation. Multilateralism is important, and India has been advocating multilateralism. India advocated about multilateralism in the recently concluded SCO. India is advocating multilateralism in the ongoing BRICS summit. Multilateralism simply means that multiple countries should come together to resolve the critical issues. Universal Agenda SDGs call for a collective effort, stressing that all countries must act to ensure inclusivity in development progress. Progress and gaps. Implementation status. Support for SDGs remains steady but fragile, facing challenges such as financial resource scarcity and increasing trade tensions. So that should be tackled. Despite improvements in internet access has improved from 40% in 2015 to 66% in 2022. The digital divide persists, hindering progress, and this digital divide is wider in the developing and underdeveloped world. Data deficiency. A lack of reliable data remains a significant barrier to effective implementation and monitoring of progress. That needs to be taken. Action steps which need to be taken: mobilize the resources. Developed nations must honor their ODA commitments to the developing and underdeveloped countries. Multi stakeholder collaboration should be there. Forming partnerships across sectors is essential to leverage the interconnections between SDGs and enhance their effectiveness. Mechanisms for effective mobilization. National reviews are important. You need to review these SDGs nationally, and after reviewing them properly, you need to collaborate with other countries. Ki bhai, this is the shortcoming in our country. Please help us. Regional and global forums should be formed. So this can help. This is all what multilateralism is. Countries should share experience and challenges at regional levels and during annual meetings, such as the High Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development. So, all these things can be done. Some facts and figures: the debt levels. Developing countries face a surge in external debt post COVID, coupled with high inflation and competing priorities. ODA flows has increased. Much of it has been diverted to immediate crisis rather than long-term development goals. They stood at approximately $135 billion in 2014. So immediate crisis is crisis in Ukraine and such, like refugee crisis and all. In 2014, 79% of imports from developing countries entered developed countries duty free. So this is good news, but yes, this needs to increase. The debt burden on developing countries remains stable at about 3% of export revenue. Number of internet users in Africa almost doubled in the past 4 years. Improved from internet access improved from 3 billion in 2015 to 5.3 billion in 2022, and the population was 8 billion in 2022. Disparities remain, particularly between the genders. Males have more access to internet as compared to females. As of 2015, 95% of the world's population covered by mobile cellular signals. This is good because having a mobile phone has led to financial inclusion, and we could see this in the context of India as well. The JAM Trinity, okay, Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile, which has enabled transfers of subsidies directly to the bank accounts which have been linked with the mobile phones of the poor people. 30% of the world's youth are digital natives, active online for at least 5 years. Internet penetration has gone from just over 6% of the world's population in 2000 to 43% in 2015. But more than 4 billion people do not use the internet, and 90% of them are from the developing world. India has the second highest number of internet users in the world. However, internet penetration in the country is under 20%. So, this is what you need to understand about SDG 17. So, with this, we've completed this entire theme of SDGs. I will request the management to give you all these 17 SDGs at one place. We have that document ready, and that will be given to you, and you can store that with you in one place, and you can download it, and you can read about it, about all the SDGs at one place only. Now coming to the MCQs, consider the following statements with respect to AQI and mark the correct one. AQI was introduced in 2014 as part of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. AQI includes 8 pollutants including carbon dioxide. Find the correct answer. Which of these pollutants is are part of AQI? Carbon monoxide, PM 2.5 and PM 10, lead, methane. Third, which is the administrative authority over GRAP? That is Graded Response Action Plan, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Commission for Air Quality Management, State Government of NCT of Delhi, National Green Tribunal. Fourth, consider the following statements with respect to GRAP and mark the correct one. GRAP follows the airshed approach. During emergency phase, the adjoining states of Delhi NCR are also mandated to implement provisions of GRAP. So, which of these statements are true? Now, yesterday's MCQs, arrange these places from north to south. So, Pangong Saw, Daulat Beg Oldie, Gogra Hot Springs, Demchok. So, I will write this is Daulat Beg Oldie is at the northernmost position. Then after it comes Gogra Hot Springs. Then Pangong Saw. Then comes Demchok. This is the correct sequence from north to south, and it was visible from the map over there. So 2314 is going to be the correct answer. Consider the following statements with respect to the patrolling arrangement between India and China and mark the correct one. It can lead to de-escalation of the conflict in Ladakh region. Yes, definitely it can lead. It is not applicable to Dapsang Plains and the Demchok region. No, it is applicable there also. So only one is going to be the correct option. Third, the first BRIC summit was hosted in which place? It was Yekaterinburg, Russia. To be very clear, this is a straightforward factual question. Which of these countries are a new entrant in BRICS? So BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. 4 new entrants are there. That is UAE, Iran, Ethiopia and Egypt. So Iran, UAE, Ethiopia. Saudi Arabia was expected to be included, but Saudi Arabia has not given a yes or a no. So it is like this. Turkey wants to apply. So these two are not current members. So 1, 2 and 5 is going to be the correct option, and this is A. Fifth, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. Roopkund Lake lies in the Kumaon region of Uttarakhand. It is not in the Kumaon region, it is in the Garhwal region of Uttarakhand. So this is wrong. The Roopkund Lake, known as the Lake of Skeletons, has skeletal remains from the 9th century, not the 19th century. So this statement is also wrong, and D is going to be the correct answer. So this is basically it from today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. I'm not repeating it today. Namaste. Jai Hind.